Okay, so is the Antichrist going to be Roman or European? And why do Christians think that? Well, it comes from a verse, Daniel 9:26. And this is, keep in mind, the only verse that supports that. And go ahead and pause a bit if you need to go get your Bible. Open it up to Daniel. It's in the Old Testament. Chapter 9, verse 26 says, "The people of the prince to come shall destroy the temple." Or in some versions it says the sanctuary, but it's referring to the temple. People of the prince to come. Everybody is in pretty much agreement. All scholars are in agreement that the prince to come is most certainly the Antichrist. That is who's being referred to there. So the people of the prince to come, then, we need to know who destroyed the temple. Well, in 70 AD, 2,000 years ago, the temple was, in fact, destroyed by the Roman army. Because of that, it is rightfully interpreted that maybe the Antichrist will be Roman. The people of the prince to come shall destroy the temple. That makes sense. However, we have a gotcha, and that is that Isaiah, the prophet Isaiah in the Old Testament, calls the Antichrist the Assyrian. Now, Assyria is not anywhere near Rome. Assyria is what is now Turkey, southern Turkey, northern Syria, northern Iraq. Okay? Micah, the prophet Micah in the Old Testament, also calls the Antichrist the Assyrian. So that's two references to Assyria. Now, let me explain something, give you a little bit of insight into history. The Roman army that day, when they destroyed the temple, if you study history and you look into this matter a little bit, you'll find out that the only ethnic Romans there that day were the generals. Only the generals were, ethnically speaking, Roman. And they were issuing orders to not destroy the temple. Yet all of the soldiers, they were Roman soldiers, meaning they had enlisted in the Roman army. But ethnically speaking, genetically speaking, those legions were populated by men from Assyria. They were Assyrians in nationality. They had joined the Roman army, but they were Assyrian ethnically speaking. So now we go back and we look at that verse again, and the people of the prince to come shall destroy the temple now has two possible interpretations. It is legitimate to interpret that as Roman. However, it's also legitimate to interpret it as Assyrian. And Isaiah and Micah call the Antichrist the Assyrian. That now seems to put him in Turkey. Combine that with a few other things. For example, if you want to maintain that it is talking about Rome, well, Constantinople, the city of Constantinople, was the capital of the Roman Empire for longer than Rome was. And it is now Istanbul in Turkey. The churches that Jesus writes letters to in Revelation 2 and 3 are all in Turkey. And we have another phenomenon, which I'll talk about in another video. In Islamic prophecy, if you look at Islamic prophecy, Islam also has a Messiah figure. Their Messiah they call the Mahdi. And the description of the Mahdi, detail by detail, is our Antichrist. If you learn about the Mahdi in Islam, it matches our description of the Antichrist. But key to know is that Islam says their Mahdi has to come from Turkey. So we have a lot of evidence that the Antichrist will actually be from Turkey, an Islamic leader who revives the Ottoman Empire, who creates an Islamic Caliphate, an Islamic superpower in the Middle East. This is a much more likely scenario than Roman or European, especially since the Bible is Middle Eastern centric, not European centric. So while it is legitimate to interpret that one verse as Roman, there are so many other references that seem to clearly put him in Turkey that it would seem that the best interpretation of Daniel 9:26 is to look at the ethnicity of those Roman soldiers who were all Assyrian and realize that the Antichrist is actually going to be an Islamic ruler from Turkey.